like when I met Austin St. John, he was so nice. I told him my name was Jason, and he was like, he even said to me, he's like, that's my name too. And I was like thinking he meant like, oh, his character on the show, but maybe he meant his real name. I don't know. But he was super nice. And so
how are you influence films? What do you think? Are you getting your ASJ one-liner Hitler shirt with your Tumblr, or what are you doing?
So I got two things to say. The first, though, is as far as the Tumblr, I've been talking to some people from your stream. One of them is Drew Danger, who I think is going to come up after me maybe. And just to say, like, there's been a few people that have wrote to Austin, and he was one of them, actually. And his team, him, whoever runs his website, wrote him back and said, oh, it must have gotten lost in the mail, and we're going to send it out this week. So, hey, man, fingers crossed. But the last thing I'm going to say about this, but I have another thing I want to say, but the last thing I'm going to say about this, though, is that, like, it shouldn't have taken me coming on your stream and mentioning this and then following up 2 years, man. Like, I don't know. And I'm not saying it's Austin's fault directly, but I'm saying whoever runs his business, and if you're in charge of your business, like, do better. But so my thing is, thank you to you, Henry. Thank you to the people that are in the Resilient Army, because I feel like they're more responsible for this happening if it does than, you know, Austin's team themselves. So kudos all around. And the second thing I want to say, though, is if Austin is watching this,
he's 100% watching. Don't think he's not.
So I've been a fan from the days of, like, and he was my ranger as a kid. So Christmas one year, Hanukkah one year. Most of my family is Jewish. I'm Jewish. Some of my extended family is not. So as a kid, I got to do a lot of holidays. And so there was one Hanukkah where it was all about Power Rangers. And so this was the one I kept. Wow. And so thing is that, like, I like, who are responsible for that? My mom. I'm bringing out pictures because I want watching this to understand this. My grandmother, like, these are people that are Jewish.
Hitler was, you know, a demon on steroids, but he had some pretty good one-liners.
And it's just so sad for me that somebody that I admired in my childhood, I backed your comic. This is the thing. Like, it's so sad to think that I have to kind of be almost embarrassed to have had you as a childhood hero, to think now you're going to think it's okay to put Hitler on shirts. And when I went to his Facebook, I was surely expecting there to be, you know what, this was a gaffe. And I would have said, okay, you know, I would have said, well, at least he figured out that probably wasn't the best thing to do. But instead it was doubling down.
Damn.
And that just kind of made me sick. And other than that, this was his comic that he said at a convention was like his favorite cover because his dad's on it. His dad's no longer alive. His dad was either in the Navy or the Army or something. I don't remember which off the top of my head. But I just can't imagine somebody that served America would be proud of that. Proud of their son, like, putting Hitler on a shirt.
Ooh.
Like, I don't see that. And maybe he would be, but I don't see that. So all in all, like, it's just real conflicting and it's sad. And I really hope you change your mind.
Now, what do you think about the people who are Jewish like yourself, who wrote on his comment section that, hey, I'm Jewish and I don't agree with this idea? What do you think about him blocking those people and deleting their comments? Or not him specifically, it could be someone from his team. But what do you think about the whole blocking of people just saying, hey, I'm Jewish, I don't agree with this? What can you speak to that?
I don't know if it was necessarily so much about, you know, I'm anti-Semitic or whatever, and I'm, you know, I don't care what you think, or if it's more so I'm going to do this regardless and I don't want any negativity showing. But the more media attention it gets, the more people that call like, hey, this is what's happening. I don't see the public at large being like, oh, it's a good idea. And what makes me sick too is if you look at his Facebook, there's comments on there that are like, oh, well, you know, it's not that bad. You're blowing it out of proportion. And I'm like, well, when would it be out of proportion then? Like when would it be in proportion? I mean, like when you have somebody from, you know, I don't know, the KKK, like is that okay? Like, where's the line in the sand? Because I think it would be this, but apparently it's not. So, and if it's really all about warriors and leaders, you could surely start with positive ones and end with positive ones, because there's been numerous ones. And like for my job, if we posted a quote for the day of Hitler, you'd probably get written up. Like,
you'd probably be fired.
Right.
You'll be out of a job.
Right. And so I just, this makes no rational sense to me at all. And the thing is that I can't imagine a world in which it's just weird to think that like Power Rangers are now like on like the same side as Hitler, as far as like, oh, well, that was a bright thing to say. Yes. Mm-hmm. Like, man, it's wacky as heck. Anyways.
I agree, man. And I'm sorry that you experienced it and seeing like your hero basically turn, I would say, on his Jewish audience. Yeah, you know, it's so Hitler was so divisive as a person, his rhetoric. So for him to say, hey, I'm about to split my audience, and I'm thinking about putting Hitler one-liners on T-shirts. As someone, if I was Jewish, I would be like, I couldn't support that. If he said, hey, you know, I'm about to put famous slave catchers on, like, he's going to put Jim Crow quotes on a T-shirt and sell it because, hey, we could learn from Jim Crow, then, you know, I think that would alienate all black people. And at that point, maybe Walter would actually speak out against ASJ. But Hitler, it silences, you're complicit with it. So anything else you want to add, Jason?
Let's morph back to the hero, if that's still a thing. Like, let's do away with this idea. There's still time for you to change your mind. The shirts aren't out yet, so if you're listening, like somebody that's like backed you from day one since '93, and just do better. And do better with your business as far as mailing stuff. 2 years is pathetic, but more important than that,
let him cook.
Do better with do better with how you're treating people that admired you for years and years and years. And this is kind of like a slap in the face. But I don't want to end on a negative note. So thank you again, Henry, and thank you to the Resilient Army for trying to get the word out about that silly Tumblr. And I'm really excited if it happens.
All right, man. Now look, man, you know, because I want you to guarantee you exposure,